one of them days.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video, as you can tell by the title, I'm going to be telling you what colleges I got accepted to, as well as some tips for the admissions process. If you would like to watch this video, just keep watching. So, I am a senior in high school, as you know, as well as technically a sophomore in college, and I'm almost done. Graduation is in about 3.5 months. Thank God. So I have a lot of big things coming up for me. So in this video, I'm going to be telling you all the schools that I got accepted into, and I think it's about 8. So these are the colleges that I got accepted into, and they aren't in any specific order. So I got accepted into Greensboro College, High Point University, University of North Carolina at Greensboro, North Carolina A&T, Queen's University, Warren Wilson, Lenoir-Rhyne, and Appalachian State University. So I'm just going to talk to y'all a little bit about the admissions process, my admissions process, and as well as why I didn't apply to many HBCUs and why I mainly applied to PWIs. So I didn't apply to many HBCUs because I didn't want to be just a black girl that went to an HBCU. Although I am very respectful of the establishments of a historically black college or university, I didn't want to apply there because it is known that HBCUs does not give out as many scholarships to black people because they are not the minority, because it's an HBCU, black people want to go there. So that's why I applied to mainly PWIs, which is a primarily white institution. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was doing my college tours, it did kind of make me uncomfortable on some campuses how the white people looked at me. They looked at me like they haven't seen black people ever. And that did kind of like hit me somewhere in my heart, because I felt like I just wondered, what if the next 4 years that I'm here, that never changes, they still look at me like this? And it really made me feel some type of way, as well as me going to a PWI instead of a HBCU. I still feel like that I won't have the same experience that my friends who go to HBCUs will have. And I know a lot of people say, well, college isn't about the experience, it's about the academics. But if I'm paying thousands and thousands of dollars, I want to have some fun. And seeing as I'm 17 years old, about to graduate high school with a degree, I deserve to have a little bit of fun. Not saying that my academics are just going to go out the window, but I do deserve to have a little bit of fun, and that kind of scares me, like sororities or like just mingling with people that look like me or like can relate to me. Because not saying that white people cannot relate to me or like be into the same things that I am, but it's just something about when black people get together and they just click. It's just something different than with somebody outside of your race. All right, so the admissions process. We all know that college is expensive. Applications aren't cheap either. And so just make sure you use your resources and use your free application weeks if you need to. Use your SAT waivers, and yeah, just use as many resources as you can get to get the cost down of the admissions process. Now, all right, so my first tip is get good recommendations. You can get a recommendation from your school leader, your church leader, a teacher, anybody really who you think knows you well and will give good recommendations to a college or a scholarship. You want to just have a couple of those handy. So my second tip is not letting your test scores discourage you. I am not a good test taker, therefore I did not get scores with flying colors, but I didn't get terrible scores either. But I did feel like my scores were not grand enough to apply to some of the colleges that I wanted to apply to. As anybody who knows me knows that for a couple years my number one choice of school was New York University. I just wanted to go there and it was my first choice. But as I took these test scores, I'm just like, there's no way that they're going to admit me into NYU with all these other people who getting like 32s on their ACT and like getting a perfect score on their SAT. But I'm here to tell you that you shouldn't let your test scores discourage you or make you feel like that you can't get into the college of your choice, because if you bring something more than test scores, if you bring personality, diversity, if you bring something more, saying like you can do more than academics, then that's going to give you a better chance of you getting into that school anyways. My second tip is applying in your price range. Not saying that you won't get a full ride to a school even if you can't afford it, but your best bet is applying where you can afford it if you're funding your education or your parents can afford it. So you might want to have that discussion with them, like what's your budget? Like what are you willing to pay, or like what's a good range for you to stay in? I, for one, wanted to save my mom money because she is the one funding my education. And I personally don't want to be in a lot of debt. I don't want to put my mother in debt. And yeah, so the next thing, which brings me to my next point, is scholarships. You need to apply to as many scholarships as you can because you never know if you'll get awarded that scholarship. And it can be scholarships that you didn't even know existed. Like, I'm 4'11", and when I heard of the scholarship, it kind of like, it made me sad that I wasn't an inch shorter, and usually I want to be taller, but there's a scholarship for little people who are 4'10" and below, and you don't necessarily have to be diagnosed a dwarf or a little person, but if you're 4'10" and below, you have the chance of getting a scholarship. Or if you're left-handed, or if you wear glasses, or if your last name is Zala. Like, it's so many scholarships out there that people don't know about, which makes them easier for you to get. As well as if you bank with a certain credit union or a certain bank, you need to look for the scholarship in that school, or look for scholarships that your school may be offering, or just scholarships everywhere. Apply, apply, apply. Even if you don't think you need a scholarship. So, essays. You're going to need to write a lot of essays in this process. You're going to need to write essays about why you think that they should choose you. What makes you the better candidate than anybody else. Like, basically, these admissions essays and these scholarship essays are basically you stating your point of why they should choose you. What makes you different? What makes you stand out from anybody else that has applied? What makes you special that you deserve to have this recognition, this honor of being a scholarship recipient, admission recipient? Just make sure your essays are personal but formal as well. Don't just write an essay in 20 minutes and submit it because they can tell. Although statistically admissions counselors only spend about maybe 7 to 10 minutes per application because of so many applicants that is assigned to the admissions counselor. You want to make your essay or your application memorable for that person. You want to make them remember your name. Just like when you walk into a room, you want to be all eyes on me. You want people to remember you. Well, I know I want people to remember me when I walk into a room, or like after they read something that has my name on it, I want them to remember me. I don't want to just be a number in a case file. I want them to remember me as Alexis Lawson. I remember this. So that's what you basically want to do. You want to make sure that you produce quality essays or quality statements, because they're going to know if you just BS the whole thing. My next tip is getting involved. Whether it's your senior year, your junior year, your freshman year, hey, it might be some 8th graders watching this and you're just excited to go to college. You want to make sure that you are involved, whether it's in your community, whether it's in your school, or anything. You want to make sure that you're giving back, because that's what they like to see. They like to see that you are a giver and you want to put back into your community. They just don't want to see people who just haven't done anything and got good grades. Although I'm not saying that they won't give you admission if you haven't been involved or you haven't done any community service, but they like to see that, and that gives you a plus to somebody else who just went to school and did nothing. My next tip is don't let your job become the center of your life, your last year of high school. Now, I do have a job, but school is my first priority. School has always been my first priority, and I only work a couple hours a week just to make sure that I have enough time to get all my assignments completed correctly, and I put effort into all of them because I am taking 19 credit hours this semester, and I'm just trying to graduate, and I'm just trying to make sure that I prove everybody wrong. And they said that I couldn't take 19 credit hours. I want to prove them wrong and make sure that I don't disappoint anybody, especially disappoint myself. So if you have a job, and you know that you don't have enough time to get your work done, or you know that you don't have time to study for that test, you need to cut your hours. You need to make school a priority if you're focused on getting into this university. Because when those schools get your transcripts and they see, oh, they got a D in this class, or they got a C in this class, I wonder why. That's going to pop up, and that's going to lower your chance of the school offering you money. That's why they ask you for those transcripts, and that's why they require a transcript after the school year has ended, after you have graduated. That's why they request that final transcript, because they want to see that you're going to bring their school test scores, or you're going to bring that school good ratings. And if you're focused on the job, then you're not going to be able to uphold those grades that those colleges and universities are looking for. Alright, so that's all I had to say, really. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. So I will be starting a college series, and this is just the first video to my college series. My next video will be a reveal of my major and what school that I have decided to attend for fall of 2018. And yeah, just don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Share this video with anybody that you think could use these tips in your admissions process. Or if you are a junior, an upcoming senior, and you're watching this, I want to wish you good luck on your college application process, and you picking a school that you fall in love with, and you just doing whatever you want to do, or becoming whoever that you want to be. So I just want to thank y'all again for watching this video, and yeah, bye guys.
Are you ready to fight just to see what's lost behind my flaws? Can you love me naked?